Okay, hi guys, welcome to Biology Online with Henny van Vieren. Hello again, welcome to question 3 of the 2020 Genetic Variation and Change paper. So, this is quite a nice question, bit of data in there for us, and I'm a bit of a data junkie. So this is the tuatara, one of the most ancient reptiles or animals on Earth. The thing that I found amazing about it, that it actually still, on the top of its head, it still has a third eye, but there's skin over it, but it still has a lens, which is amazing. And the reason why they have those eyes is basically to distinguish between light and dark, so that when a predator goes above them, they would know. Now, think about it in the context of New Zealand. We only had the aerial predators. Okay, we didn't have any mammalian predators, and nothing else was eating the tuatara. I don't think the moa did. I don't know. But anyways, they would all have come from the top. So, there you go. So the tuatara, it definitely used that. So if the shadow from an attacking flying predator comes, like the most likely New Zealand falcon, or then the harrier hawk, or the Australasian harrier, then it would know and it will move away. So, tuatara offspring produce offspring through sexual production. Okay, sexual reproduction. In other words, males and females. Population numbers and genetic diversity are low because we brought in rats and cats and dogs. Lovely. The temperature at which a tuatara egg are incubated determines the sex of the offspring. How crazy is that? So if I bake the eggs at 22 degrees Celsius, you get males, while at 21 you get females. Ha! Does that mean the guys are hotter than the girls? No, sorry. However, some individuals in the population do not fit this trend, with some males developing at 20, they are cold-hearted, and 21, and some females developing at 22. See the graph below. So males is darker shaded and females is lighter shaded. So you can see that the females in general prefer the cooler temperatures, and the males in general prefer the hotter temperatures, with then the optimal temperatures being 22.3 and 18 to 21 for females. Now, think about the effect that global climate change is going to have on this. Consider how the process of natural selection can be used to predict what could happen to the species in the following circumstances if the temperature rose rapidly over a short period of time. If the temperature rises slowly over a long period of time. Name and describe how totally new alleles enter a population. We know that the only way new alleles can come in is through a mutation. Explain natural selection. Explain, including a reason, why some males and females do not fit the trend. Because they have new alleles. And it shows you how, in a changing temperature environment, new alleles and genetic variation creates survivability for a whole species. Because if all of them sat here and the temperature suddenly dipped, there will be no males. Okay. So, predict what could happen to the species when the temperature rises quickly over a short period of time. Compare with when they rise slowly over a period of time. Now let's think about this quickly. If the temperature, explain for some reason why some males and females do not. Okay, let's give a proper mutation. So name and describe how total new alleles are caused during a mutation, and that allele will only be passed on to the offspring if the mutation happened during the gamete production. Mostly mutations are a permanent change in the base sequence of the DNA. which then results in a new phenotype. Mutations are generally silent, and if it is expressed, it is frequently dangerous and can cause death. However, sometimes it can give a reproductive advantage or a survivability advantage. In the case of the tuatara up here, you can see that some females can be born at higher temperatures, which, in case there is a sudden rise in the temperature, it means that these females might survive. Whereas those guys over down here, they will most likely not survive. And so, which means that naturally will be a selection pressure because of temperature, and natural selection is the organism is best fit for the environment. It's not the fittest, it is best fit for the environment. So you can see here where the females will fit in and where the males will fit in if it suddenly changes over time. So and then reasons, so new alleles have formed, and that's why through mutation, which means that the organisms have a genetic variation, and genetic variation in this case will help the species to survive because they can hatch as male or female at different temperatures. So predict what could happen to the species when the temperature rises quickly over a short period of time compared to when it rises slowly. So let's firstly think about quickly. Now, quickly means within a couple of years. We're not talking about thousands of years. Okay? Long period of time is thousands of years. So as we see at the moment, our temperature is rising, and as the temperature is rising, it will then eventually, if it's a quick change and it goes up, if I'm only looking at the males, that guy won't survive, that guy won't survive and reproduce, this guy won't survive and reproduce, and potentially these two might. But let's say even this one is taken out, so suddenly we have what is called a bottleneck. Okay. However, if the temperature went all the way up here, will we have any females left? No. So you will have only males if the temperature rose above 22 degrees Celsius. Now, if we then talk about the females, again, if the temperature is a rapid rise, most of these guys will not make it. They will not be fit for the environment. However, if we hope that the temperature remains between 21 and 22, you will have a way smaller population that do survive and much reduce genetic variability and because of a bottleneck effect. However, if the temperature rose over a very long time, more alleles will be basically the guys that can handle the temperature slightly higher or slightly higher over here. So that's not a good color to pick. So over here, they might then have a better reproductive success than, for instance, these guys here and here, and then their offspring will have a better chance of reproductive success, and that is natural selection. And then as time goes by, we will naturally select for the higher and higher allele, but there will be more alleles available, and the effect on the species will not be as much, and consequently you will not have as bad genetic drift, and you won't have a huge bottleneck, because multiple generations, so there's no huge bottleneck. So multiple generations will have survived and have adapted. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's look at the model answer. Okay, so mutations are the only way totally new alleles can enter a population. Mutations are a permanent change to the DNA base sequence. We set that, and you set that too, because you studied your definitions. Natural selection is the process where individuals that possess the best genotype in the environment survive and reproduce, therefore passing on their favorable or desired alleles onto the offspring, and it goes into the gene pool and then increases in that gene pool. You describe what natural selection is. You describe, okay, some individuals do not fit this trend because there is variation of phenotypes within a population. Some tuatara may possess an allele that enables them to develop into male and females outside of the 22-21 degrees Celsius respectively. Can you see that they're referring back to the tuatara and the temperature? Some tuatara do not fit the trend because they have had a mutation that enables them to develop into males or females at different temperatures. So you describe that the tuatara can become males and females at different temperatures. Now let's look at the prediction. If the temperature rises fast over a short period of time, tuatara may not be able to respond to the environmental change. They have very narrow temperature range and low genetic diversity, so the alleles in the population are similar. Most likely an increase would cause the tuatara to develop into males. We said all of that, but why didn't they talk about bottleneck? Okay. If the temperature rises slowly over long, the tuatara will be more likely to respond to the environmental change or selection pressure. The small variation within the species may mean some females that can develop at higher temperatures can survive and pass the advantageous phenotype on to the next generation over time. Therefore, no dramatic bottleneck. See this? Nowhere did they talk about sexual reproduction, but they want you to give a... Basically, you need male and females. That's strange. Okay, send them prediction of that. Let's read the merit. Explain natural selection. Explain individuals do not fit because of genetic variation. Explain if the temperature is too fast, tuatara will not be able to respond. Explain if temperatures cause slowly or changes slowly, tuatara reproduction will have time to respond. And explain that slow temperature change could allow for some beneficial mutations to accumulate. And for excellence, we correctly discussed and predicted what could happen if the temperature rises fast over a short period and natural selection, and related that back to natural selection, and correctly discuss and predicts what could happen if the tuatara species, if temperature rises slowly and a long period of time, and we related that back to natural selection. Okay, so again, if you look at the A's here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 opportunities. That's a weird one though. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunities for merit. And you needed 3 A's or 4 A's. You needed 2 M's or 3 M's, and then the E's. Guys, this is very doable. I am very confident that you guys will pass this. Okay. Anyways, I hope it goes really, really well. And we will chat again very soon. Keep well. Thank you. Bye.